This video is going to take you through how to get started in the VXR Osmolarity Lab. So first of all, when you log into VXR Labs, you're going to go to the catalog and you're going to select Biology. Once you get into Biology in the catalog, you can scroll down and you will find that there are several choices. One is for osmosis and the other is for IB Osmolarity, and it's going to be IB Osmolarity that we're using here. Once you've clicked on it, you'll have two options, one to play by yourself and the other to play with your classmates. If you are at home and you weren't able to do this with classmates during your lesson, you'll likely select Play by Myself. So once you get into the VXR laboratory, it may look familiar to you if you've done other VXR labs. The first thing that you're going to do is going to go up to the screen and you're going to select on the screen the lab that you'll be working on so that you can see the instructions that you'll need to follow exactly. The first instruction here tells you to place a potato on the cutting board and use the tool to make potato cores. So you can pick up the potato, place it on the cutting board, and use the tool which, if you lift it and put it on top of the potato, will magically make your cores for you. In between each stage, don't forget to return to the screen so that you make sure you've completed the instruction and you're aware of what the next instruction is. In this case, it says to weigh your potato core. That means that you'll need to go back and select one of your potato cores, your first one, and you'll take that over to your mass balance and weigh your first core. This is the moment that you should take an in-headset screenshot so that you are aware of the mass of that first core. Alternatively, if you are working with others, you can have one person record the data for you. The next step on the screen talks about making solutions of different concentrations. That means that we'll need to move over to the other table in the lab where we have the equipment to make the solutions. So since we're on the other table, it's worthwhile selecting on the screen the instructions again so that you have them right in front of you to refer to. The instruction here says that you need to create solutions of different molarity. We're going to be using water and salt to do this. It will be solutions of different concentrations, otherwise known as molarity. So to do this, you're going to fill each flask completely with the water. What will become important in a moment and as you proceed through the lab is that you remember which molarity you are making in each flask. The instructions then tell you to add salt to the water in each flask. The molarity of each flask depends upon how much salt you add to the water in each flask. So make sure that you take careful note of how much to add. As this is just a demonstration, I'll just be making one of the solutions by adding 1 shake of the salt to 1 flask. If you read the instructions carefully, it does also say that you need to stir each time that you add the salt to the water in the flask. So this is important because once you've stirred, it will tell you the molarity of the solution in that flask. So in this case, the solution created was 0.5 molar. As you continue to follow the instructions, you will see that they ask you to pour the solution into the test tube. In between each action, you should always return to the screen to read the instructions to see what the next step is that you need to conduct. As this is a simulator, if you miss a step, you might become frustrated because you are prevented from moving on to the next step. The next step tells us that we need to go and get the potato core that we measured the mass of and to put it in our test tube. So we need to go back to the other side of the lab, take the potato core that we measured and recorded the mass of, and bring it back and put it into our test tube. After that, we place the bung on top of the test tube and return to our screen for the next instructions. Once you've read those instructions, you'll note that it asks you to take the test tube over to the temporal accelerator. Essentially, this is a simulator within the lab that simulates leaving this test tube for an extended period of time, and it asks you to leave it on the temporal accelerator for the equivalent of 1 hour. This is like leaving the test tube in the lab for 1 hour. Cool part of this is, because it's a simulator, you get to speed it up, so you don't actually have to stand there for an hour. Once your time is up, the instructions will explain to you that you'll take the test tube over to the cutting board, and if you put it on there, it will open the test tube and your potato core will come out. You then want to take the potato core and measure its mass again to see how it has changed. You'll need to record this mass as well, and you can do this either by taking a screenshot in your headset or having a group member write down the mass. This will be the mass of the potato core in 0.5 molar solution after it has been left for 1 hour. You previously recorded its mass before the experiment took place, so now you're in a position to calculate the change in mass of this potato core. You could also calculate the percentage change in mass. You'll need to repeat this for each of the concentrations of the salt solution before being able to conclude from your experiment.